Dynamite Download.
Dynamite Download, your home for all positive coverage on all elite wrestling. Special event, as you can see, SPD, about we were born badass.
To see the height and to see the commitment and to see the drive. We'll see yours truly without a signature shade. SPD once again. January recruitment month for the
I come along in the
very
You know, actually, I did do that. I was thinking
Dynamite, all three in the flesh.
Back to do an interview with those guys. You know why? Because they spread positivity about AEW.
Welcome to Dynamite Download. It's me. It's SPD. It's my holiday, SPD, St. Patrick's Day. You know how it is. And man, oh man, all smiles on the face because we have a new women's champion. If you've been a fan of Dynamite Download, you know that this has been the feud that we have been behind since many moons ago. Well over a year ago, we've been behind this. And tell us, Crayfish, I mean, did it live up to its expectations or what?
These
I mean, we'll
women-
dive deep into it later, but just right off the
God.
bat, I got to know.
These women absolutely tore it up from their entrances to their gear to the match itself. Just absolutely went after each other. SPD fought with an intensity that mirrored the feud, the bad blood these two had. They laid it all on the line. Chairs, thumbtacks, everything you could ever imagine. And, finally, Thunder dethroned the DMD,
Yes.
man. I can't wait to talk to you about that match. Absolutely just an epic, very similar to what we saw last year, going to go down as a memorable moment in AEW women's division. And quite honestly, this company's history. These two women tore it up. First ever cage match for the women's division, and they set the bar high, my friend. Set the bar very, very high.
They did, and leading up to tonight's card and tonight's show, I was, we tweeted out that like this tonight's show is going to change the landscape, as we say here at Dynamite Download, change the landscape in AEW for months or years to come because of just what we have in store for that. I mean, obviously, the main event we saw all the gold displayed tonight, and we had another gold match on the line, and then we saw the commencements of the Jericho Appreciation Society, which we know how amazing Jericho is. And so and then the second tag match of Danielson and Moxley together, and then the first tag match of the Hardys together. And man, did it kick off with a boom, baby, and with Adam Cole and Red Dragon, with Hangman, Adam Page, and Jurassic Express in his corner, kicked off in a trios match that was really not sleepingly, but incredible. It was hot. The crowd was hot.
Fair. Yeah,
this
man.
fed into the crowd because the crowd was just on fire as soon as that pyro and the announcements were going off. I think this was such a high energy match. The pairing of this, it got off the rails a little bit, but in a good way. I love this match and this pairing, man. It was just a lot of high spots and just a lot of cool things happened with all guys. You had the kicking assault by Team Red Dragon which I love to see.
I knew you'd love them.
Love that Hangman sequence, which was absolutely fire. Just going, the camera crew couldn't even keep up with that Hangman sequence. It was so incredible. The triple moonsault by Team Hangman was incredible.
God.
But man, how were you as geeked as me watching this match with a lot of my favorites?
Well, it's so fun when a show starts off with this kind of energy, isn't it? I mean, crowd was immediately. Sure. I mean, it didn't take them long to bust out the "This is awesome" chants, and that's when AEW's clicking on all cylinders, man. We knew this card was set to really be one of those mini pay-per-views that AEW gives us so regularly. And
free TV.
You look at the star power in this match. I mean, it's understandable why this one had the crowd going nuts. These guys had the crowd eating out of the palm of their hands. And again, such a cool – what I like what we're seeing with Jurassic Express's tag title run. I've been very impressed by Their ability, the way those two play off each other, it just works. There were moments in this match where I was kind of shocked. I wanted to talk to you about it, where it was like Luchasaurus was getting beaten down and worn down, and it's usually I'm used to seeing him be the guy who gets the hot tag, comes in, ball of fire, just dominates everybody. But this was a nice change of pace. Allowed JB to come in and make the save for Luchasaurus during this one. They played off each other's strengths really well, and I love seeing that. I love the Jungle Boy Adam Cole dynamic when Cole debuted in AEW. I said it from the get-go. That's a pairing that just works. And when you got Adam Cole and the scheming mastermind on one side and just the pure babyface trio on the others, it just works. We talk about iron sharpens iron here, man, and we're seeing an example when you get true heel work. And I mean, Adam Cole, I know how popular he is. I know how fun it is to do the boom along with his entrance. But when it comes to actions in their character motivations, there are a few characters in this company that are as, self-absorbed and manipulative as he is. I mean, he's right up there with MJF. So I'm impressed by the run that they've had with Adam Cole. Baby. And I think it's working. This feud with Hangman Adam Page, it's obvious they're not done with the champ. And
I like this promo last week. Unfortunately, we missed last week's show. Just a lot of stuff going on. I had food poisoning, and to spare the details and other odds and ends.
Goodness.
We're back, baby. And Adam Cole said he's not going to let him, rest essentially until he gets that gold. And, I'm all for like an ultimate payoff match and kind of closing the chapter and move on. But I think this is working so well so soon. And I think then you're going to start to tie in some kind of stuff going on with the Young Bucks, which we're kind of getting hints of that even with the FTR stuff. But I don't know, man. I think
I'm digging the FTR Young Bucks. They're playing that one along nice and slow, cooling that out.
Put it in the crock pot. Let it slow cook.
You know it, baby. You know it. Crayfish eating that up. I love that. We're seeing it in the chat though. Red Dragon has really been a nice spark in the tag division as we're seeing people chat in the chat. What they bring, just that veteran savvy. Bobby Fish definitely has that, and there were moments in this where the enthusiasm and the energy on the babyface side was used against them. And we saw that. I mean, right at the end, Jungle Boy, came in and he got caught. And it didn't take much for him to become the one who ate the pin. Little combo offense from Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and then a knee to the back of the head. That's 1, 2, 3, baby. So, I was, anytime you get a chance to see the world champion and tag team champions go down, I don't want to undersell that. Obviously this is an entertaining match. Yeah. I mean, this was an entertaining match, but the ramifications of this are huge. Not only from the world title perspective, right, where obviously Adam Cole and Adam Page, they have bad blood, and it's not just over at Revolution. It's going to continue on. But I think Red Dragon is emerging now as the clear-cut number one contenders to Jurassic Express, and I know that they just had a tag title match, but it's different when it's a true program between two teams rather than kind of being thrown into a 3-team tag match that we saw, which was incredible. Right. But I think that seeing Red Dragon go toe to toe with Jurassic Express, I don't know, man. They definitely set the tone for both the world title and the tag titles in this one match. I think that was very smart booking by AEW, and it has the crowd desperately wanting more of it.
Yeah, you're spot on with that, man. Very, very spot on. And another thing the crowd wants more, other than every single match and every single feud that's been going on in AEW, is this
Mm.
one, the Moxley Danielson pairing. It's working so well, and we knew it would.
Love
It
this
just
pairing.
it's just the violence as we have seen Danielson kind of crave nonstop. Just I love the heavy offense and submissions that we're getting out of Danielson and Maxley. It's a lot of fun, and you can hear them talking back and forth, loudly, kick him in the head, kick his head off, like different odds and ends in that. But all that aside and all great aside, a standout, I mean, I think you would agree, was Wheeler Yuta in this match. I mean, that guy, the kid, took excuse my French, he took an ass whooping right away. Chop after chop, kick after kick, headbutt after headbutt. And even after all those ass whoopings, Yuta was getting his spots in, getting his big spots and standing up, craving that kick from Danielson, coming back in the ring at the end of the match, which was very interesting. So I was surprised. And, we've seen Yuta being squashed in the past by multiple different, AEW talents. But this one was a standout moment, a standout match for Yuta, in my opinion. And I think he really, stood above everyone. And, what happens from there, who's to say? But Moxley and Danielson, I was thinking, I'm like, with this kind of offense and with this kind of like violence, like who would I want to see go against? And honestly, the first team that came to mind was FTR.
Oh God, that would be fantastic. I'm all for it. But I thought that whole you just talked about Yuta, and it really played out after the match. He seemed conflicted. He went back to the ring, left the best friends behind, went back to the ring, stood toe-to-toe with William Regal, Danielson, and Mox.
Yeah.
And I think that was a moment. And let's be honest, this whole thing stems from Bryan Danielson's pursuit of proving a point to the younger generation.
You're right.
That you can get to the top, but you got to be willing to take the tough road to get there.
Sure.
And he's more than happy to make that road as difficult and as challenging as possible for his foes, man. I mean, Moxley and Danielson, this pairing, these guys, they threw it out there in the chat. I love this violent gentleman. I like that a lot with the Regal pairing.
I have a shirt that says that.
These guys, just the intensity that they both fight in their matches, the way that Moxley's offense is so hard hitting and so just a ball of fire. Danielson, as you know, man, just the guy's strikes and his submissions and this nasty side of him. I loved it. Honestly, if it wasn't for the main event, this tag match, Moxley and Danielson would be my top performers, because I'm such a huge fan of this pairing. I think that these two guys work really well off each other. Obviously, both guys as single stars could be main eventers, world champions anywhere in the world. But pairing them together and having William Regal be their mentor, I mean, they not only can they bring it in the ring, but they have a razor sharp focus now. They seem like they have a mission. And I mean, we just got done talking about how Red Dragon have emerged as the number one contenders, man. These guys, I have a feeling, are going to go on a warpath, and they're going to be putting down tag team after tag team after tag team. And I think that the Wheeler Yuta situation, that what we saw tonight, is only a taste of what's to come. It's just a taste of what's to come.
Is that a segue?
Because I do think, it actually is. Because I think that there's going to be more and more examples of Wheeler, of these talents that get tested and challenged by Danielson and Moxley, and seeing how they respond to that challenge is going to be the fascinating part of the story as it unfolds. But as I mentioned, we just got a taste of what Danielson and Moxley can do together. And we got a taste of what's to come with the Jericho Appreciation Society, what Jericho has in store for us. I'm going to toss it to you because I mean, this was all very new. First time we heard from this group, and I was kind of at a loss, man. What were your thoughts when you heard this one?
I absolutely loved this segment. I was laughing out loud. I was clapping. I was cheering. Man, this was just so fun to me, this Jericho Appreciation Society commencement segment. I said it before, and, it echoed it tonight that getting more 2.0 through this is going to be gold, and it was gold. They delivered in every aspect. They got some new names because there's already a Matt and Jeff in that is an AEW. That is, if you followed BTE, there was a funny segment. So these guys were. I loved how everyone has got the time to shine, as Jericho has done in the past with the Inner Circle. But this was incredible, man. They're idolizing Jericho, not, for his contributions to wrestling, but just for him as a human being. The greatest, I can't argue this, the greatest total package in the business, Chris Jericho, he is. And I love that everyone's just kissing his ass nonstop, and it's going to be so great.
He's going to eat it up,
using their real names,
rub everybody's nose in it. Yeah,
because they're not wrestlers anymore. They're sports entertainers.
And they.
When he said that line, I was like, I popped. I was like, oh my gosh.
The sports and Daniel Garcia, who is,
looking like Van Damme. You see,
I've talked over and over and over again about this guy's talent as a wrestler and what he brings to the ring, and I think I'm clearly not the only one who sees that Daniel Garcia has so much potential and so much upside as a wrestler, but we're gonna get a taste of the upside that he has as a sports entertainer, because man, for them to use that sports entertainer line as a way of getting heel heat with the AEW crowd. It was genius, and it's another example of Jericho knowing how to play the emotions of the fans like a fiddle. I loved how he went in on the crowd, talking about how he reads what everybody says about him on social media and how it's quite honestly hurts his feelings. Just really good stuff all around, and calling Matt and Jeff by their real names and giving them all new monikers. Hilarious stuff by these guys. I'm intrigued to see where it goes, because they made it quite clear they want to go after the wrestlers of AEW, and they want to beat up the wrestlers of AEW. So I'm curious to see who they have in their sights. Who are the guys who really pride themselves on being pro wrestlers, and where this will lead this Jericho Appreciation Society, because they're going to stand out in a very good way.
Right.
With how hilarious they are. Their antics are going to be, I told you their antics were going to be great, and they definitely lived up to it.
Home run segment, as this was going on and the crowd was just cheering and cheering and cheering louder and louder and louder, I'm like, he can do no wrong. And then the sports entertainment line was like the ultimate. That is like your wild card in your up your sleeve, and it worked. And because we know how AEW fans feel about that line there, this is wrestling, and so it was incredibly played. I think this is. I can't wait to see what's in store with them. I didn't even catch the nickname / names that Matt and Jeff had.
Magic Matt. You're gonna hear plenty of it. They were, as in typical Jericho fashion, they were over the top and ridiculous and completely
home run segment
trolling of the fan base. Jericho does it so well. I said this weeks ago. Jericho looks like he's in the best shape of his career.
You're right.
When he cut that promo against Eddie Kingston,
you're right.
I saw, man, Jericho is ready for another big time run. Jericho has, and to you, I know that you've gotten frustrated with it at times. He's put over talent over and over and over again. The Orange Cassidy feud, some of the stuff that got Jericho off a path of being taken seriously. I think kind of distracted a little bit on that. But I think that this is an example where Jericho is ready for one last big push.
Yeah.
And I think that these guys having the Jericho Appreciation Society so clearly dedicated to supporting
geez.
Jericho, to being behind Chris Jericho.
Yep.
I think a world title run for Jericho is not out of the question, man. I think one more run, it feels like a possibility. It really does, and I get it. Hangman is champ right now and feels like he will never lose the belt.
Right.
But it would be. I know that there's a lot of people who are calling for, trying to predict the lineage of the next champions. And I'm just going to throw it out. I'm just going to throw it out there, man. I mean, the first AEW champion, Chris Jericho.
You're right.
Who did he beat? Who did he beat for that belt?
Yeah.
It was Hangman. So I think that this is an example where Jericho history could repeat itself.
You're right.
Jericho has these guys like backing him up. He looks great. His promo skills are. I mean, when he's a heel, when Jericho really goes full heel, he's as good as anybody in all of sports entertainment at being a heel. He's so good at it.
Throw it in there.
I loved it. I loved the segment. I thought it was hilarious. I'm really happy that you, as a Jericho fan, are going to get more Jericho because there was a point where we were worried. We were worried that he was going to be retired, that MJF was going to put him away. So not only did that not happen, but I think he's set up for a big run in 2022, especially as we head into summer.
Another person set up for a big run and has been for a while is the War Dog Wardlow. And man, with this card being so stacked and Wardlow earning his spot at AEW Revolution, the ladder match for a title, and then title shot at the TNT Championship, and then Scorpio Sky beating Sammy Guevara last week. A lot was happening, and give props where props are due. Like Scorpio Sky has been undefeated in over a year. I think the guy, his character work as of late has been really spot on. I'm really wanting.
I'd love to have a back and forth with you about Scorpio because he's not clicking for me. And there it is. All right, now it works.
Yeah. How he ends all his promos.
I'm such a huge Wardlow mark.
Yes.
I was just ready for Wardlow to just make quick work of Scorpio Sky.
He almost did too. He almost did.
And he got distracted. Wardlow got pulled aside from his old friends, his old colleagues. They definitely this one went off the rails once Shawn Spears came out. But I'll be honest with you, man. I was devastated when Wardlow lost this match, but I almost saw it coming.
I had a feeling.
Where were you at?
No, as much as we want to see Wardlow win, yes. Just AEW is not known for doing those tchotchke quick title changes, which I love. And so after him calling out MJF and doing that absolute killer promo last week on Dynamite, it was like so clear to me, like MJF has got to cost him. He's going to cost him, even though Lambert and all his schmucks are, ringside. MJF had to come, he's not going to go 2 weeks without showing his face after getting, bad mouth. So
you're right.
I was ready to change my passport
to
a resident of Wardlow's world. I was ready to have my passport changed. And now it's back in the waiting booth right there. But the time will come, and we're going to get our passports changed to being a citizen of Wardlow's world very soon, because this guy, once he tears MJF's limb from limb and gives him the Powerbomb Symphony and Shawn Spears 10 Powerbomb Symphonies, we'll be ready for that full-on push. And I think the ultimate payoff is more of putting MJF out to pasture versus getting the belt. Obviously, gold around Wardlow's waist is going to be and would be awesome, but I think the ultimate payoff for us fans is to have Wardlow just terrorize and destroy MJF, because
I hear you.
That needs to happen regardless. And if he's going to start with Shawn Spears,
and a big win over MJF in the current landscape of AEW is in a lot of ways it's just as important as a title shot. And I know Max is probably out there listening right now
because he is one of our biggest fans.
He doesn't need his ego stroked anymore, but it feels like a win over MJF is as big of a deal as it gets in AEW, and I don't want to throw that out there lightly. This man has beaten Jericho multiple times. He's beaten CM Punk multiple times. I mean, MJF has been very well protected in AEW. So, you know, for Wardlow to get his hands on Max and destroy him convincingly,
limb from limb.
Because I mean, MJF, the losses that he's had have never been like convincing, dominated. He's never gotten dominated before. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like
Brody lead.
Exactly. If Wardlow just goes out there and absolutely decimates him,
no offense,
send a huge message. It would make the crowd go crazy.
Yes.
I mean, it was cool hearing the crowd tonight, man. Wardlow, the crowd,
they were all
about for Wardlow tonight. I think that AEW's done a nice job slowly building this big man to feel like he's just on the precipice of breaking out in a huge way. And I'm dying for it. I've been wanting him to break out since we saw the man on screen. He just has it, folks. He just has it. TNT belt would have looked great around his waist, but America's top team, the antics of America's top team, they have more up their sleeve. And although I'm slow to come around to Scorpio Sky as the TNT champion, I do love what I'm seeing out of America's top team. I do think that they have something as a group dynamic. Dan Lambert is hilarious.
He's wearing a freaking belt.
I think Paige Van Zant is. They might have something with her if they can continue to make her feel like she's a special attraction. I think that she could eventually transition into the women's division as a star herself. But regardless, this one was more about the MJF Wardlow relationship than the actual title shot in the end, was it not?
It was completely agree, and we're gonna get that. And it's going to be 1 week at a time. It's going to be a lot of cat and mouse chasing, kind of like a little bit of that CM Punk cat and mouse chasing. And man, it's going to be so worth it. Please build this to the pay-per-view or anything. Honestly, maybe unpopular opinion, I prefer non-pay-per-view big matches versus pay-per-view big matches because AEW's pay-per-views are fantastic. They're A+. Revolution was A+, in my opinion. A+. But so many things can kind of get lost in the shuffle, not in a bad way, but just like there's just so much, like with this DMD Thunder Rosa stuff. Like I was so happy that they were on the pay-per-view and a great title match, but it wasn't their time to shine. And tonight,
agreed,
they shined tenfolds more than they would have at the pay-per-view. If this match was at the pay-per-view, it could have stole the show in this sense, but still give them the spotlight they deserve that they get. And I think we should get that out of Wardlow as well. Main eventing a Dynamite, just putting out MJF to pasture for sure.
I'm with you, man.
The Hardys are back. They are back reunited. Not the Hardy Boys. The Hardys are back against, similar faces, the Private Party, man. It's still kind of surreal to see the Hardy Boys in AEW, or just the Hardy Boys in general, kind of paired up. And, if you're following BT, I love watching BT every Monday or Tuesday, and they did this funny skit and they were there, and it just like the crowd is so over for them. And this is such a great character refresh for Matt Hardy. And I love the big money Matt stuff. The HFO, the AHFO was kind of like, what's your direction going here? But now it's like, man, I'm Team Hardy. Give these guys gold. Let them have one last run because I'm all for it. I mean, if that's what we're going to get out of AEW, I mean, I think they deserve it. And, this tag team division right now, as you have said, kind of put back to the back burner for the women's division, is now so overfilled of talent in a good way. You're talking House of Black, the Hardy Boys. We have Red Dragon. Now we have Danielson and Mox.
Young Bucks,
There's a lot
FTR,
of tag
the
teams that are,
mainstays. Yeah.
geez, just when we saw those 15-man casino battle royales, we were like, oh my gosh, like the teams just keep coming and coming and coming.
Brother.
And that being said, I feel like the tag team division is so strong. There's not a lot of really huge breakout single stars at the moment. I think the tag team division is at the forefront, in my opinion.
It's stacked, bro.
Yes,
it's stacked. I mean,
I'm
you
a big
named a lot.
Private Party fan.
Yeah, and I thought that this worked well. I thought we saw a little edge from Private Party. I thought that, Isaiah was really going in after Matt. We saw their trademark charisma. I loved their mocking of Jeff at points during this match as they isolated Matt. But this was about building that hot tag for Jeff Hardy. And there was the crowd at one point was just going nuts. We want Jeff. We want
tag team booking 101.
It was perfectly executed. And
right.
You mentioned the potential tag title run for these guys. One last run. Icing on the cake. I mean, these guys would add another notch to their belt, another massive accolade for a Hall of Fame. They're going to go down as one of the greatest tag teams ever.
Can't argue that.
I mean, truthfully, they are. And
can't.
There's a lot of matchups in AEW that are going to be big for them. But I know that everybody is dying to see them against the Bucks. The brothers versus brothers.
That's a dream for them too.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Even for the Young Bucks themselves, it's going to be a dream come true for those guys. Idolizing the Hardy Boys. I mean, the writing is on the wall. Jeff Hardy pun here, but the writing is on the wall that this is only the beginning. These guys, Matt Hardy, to your credit, man, I agree with you. We just got done talking about Jericho and how he continues to reinvent himself, continues to stay relevant, continues to just it feels like Jericho just gets, as you start to see him slip, he just finds a way to get over again. And Matt Hardy, credit to him, a creative guy, incredibly intelligent, has found a way to stay not only relevant, but at a point now where he and his brother are in a situation where they're in the deepest tag division I've ever seen, and there are going to be people who are clamoring for them to get this title run.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
I mean, for them to remain that over and that relevant for as long as they have since we were kids.
Yeah, agree.
That's I got to give them a lot of credit for that. I mean, we got to give them some props for being able to find a way to maintain that. I mean, Jeff has always just kind of had this natural charisma to him, but Matt has really had to use his creativity to reinvent himself and remain relevant. And I love that. I love where they're going with it. The AEW tag division, as a tag team guy, man, the AEW tag division is just absolutely bonkers. You could just spend minutes talking about just listing the teams. But it's going to be fun to see a veteran team added to this division. We have a lot of young up and coming teams in this tag division. Another veteran team that can help set the bar. And it's going to every time they step in the ring with anybody, it's going to be a dream match for that other team.
Right.
The Hardy Boys are such staples for the last 20 years of tag team wrestling that I think that there's going to be a lot of moments where you're going to be pinching yourself as you see them go toe to toe with the FTRs, with the Young Bucks, with the Lucha Brothers. I mean, you're going to see some incredible matchups that come out of this. Can't wait. This was a convincing win by those guys. Matt's offense, I really like the side. I like the side effect. I like how he delivered it with emphasis tonight. Really looked rejuvenated with his brother back. And Jeff hitting the Swanton bomb. I mean, that's goosebumps moment right there. So loved it. Thought it was a great match. and it brought the energy, man. The crowd was, you could tell the crowd was so pumped for the Hardys.
A perfect crowd pleasing match and a perfect appetizer to the main event that we've been clamoring
Oh,
for.
baby.
And man, home run, home run, home run, A plus, A plus, A plus. We have a new women's champion.
That's right,
and
baby.
Someone we have been supporting for many, many, many months, well over a year. Our first person we've interviewed on Channel Dynamite Download, Thunder Rosa. We have to say congratulations. You deserve it. It was a hard-fought journey and a battle, and the ultimate reward paid off. Your consistency paid off. Congratulations. You are the new champion of AEW Women's Division. You deserve it. No one else deserves it more than you. So congratulations, Thunder Rosa, for that, man. You just killed it. And what an entrance to kick it off as well. Wow, with the mariachi band, and then just all of a sudden when they're done, then the thunder and her full face paint. I mean, everything about it was like giving me chills. It reminded me of a lot of the Lucha Brothers entrance at All Out when we were there in Chicago. You know, that whole, showmanship of the entrance. And it's like, okay, it's when you have that, it's like, okay, you're not losing. You go all in and all this, and I loved it. I think it was just a fantastic event, or fantastic match, fantastic entrance. This was a bloody battle as expected. How would you not want the DMD to go out without a fight? This feud is just so damn good, man.
So good. It doesn't feel over either, does it? It doesn't feel over.
It's not over.
I love it. It doesn't feel over. It feels like it's just another chapter in one of the most epic feuds in women's wrestling.
You're right.
In my lifetime. I mean, these two women have a chemistry together that just works. I got to give Britt props for her gear tonight too. I know that we gave a lot of love to Thunder and her entrance and her overall aesthetic, but loved the Scott Hall. Ayo. I love the Scott Hall vibes and the tip of the cap that she had to the bad guy with her gear. Britt, from the beginning, helped set the tone that this was going to be Thunder's night to shine. Britt jumped right into classic heel work, trying to escape the cage every opportunity she had. This is why these two work so well. But Thunder is such a fired up babyface, man. I love her energy. I love her, like you talked about, that scrappiness, that never say die attitude, all that she went through. The amount of times where she's been, she's been doubted, or she's been kicked in the face. She's had to scratch and claw, overcome the odds nonstop. 4-on-1s when Mercedes Martinez was around with the DMD. I mean, you name it, the Thunder Rosa has overcome it, from a life of poverty to now being the world champion. Really just there's not much more you can say other than like well-deserved. Hard work pays off. Just a great story that was told here, and really her overcoming I'll say it, the insurmountable. You look at the track record. I know that they talked about it in the match, the commentary team. Even Tony mentioned there are a lot of asterisks next to Britt's title defenses, but you look against the names that DMD took out during her title reign, brother. Everybody, you name it, she took them out. And so, although it's disheartening for me as a diehard DMD fan to see her lose the belt, I thought this was a very fitting way to have it happen. Full circle, St. Patrick's Day, just like last year, these two women stole the show with incredible display of violence. The chair spots were amazing. The chair spots, I got to give the creativity. Wrestling, we've seen so much. It's hard to feel unique or overly creative in today's landscape when there's so much that we've seen. But the Britt and Thunder utilized the chairs in ways that, when Britt got knocked off the cage through a pyramid of chairs, that one you feel it. You feel it in your back. That one was one of those where it's like I know it's not going to get necessarily the crowd to go crazy, but it was one of those when you're just like, damn, that didn't feel good. You know it didn't feel good. Speaking of not feeling good, getting power bombed into the tax, getting a Blue Thunder driver into the tax. No one could. I mean, here's the thing. Britt, I don't think anybody denies her personality, her charisma, her mic work. But I'm hoping that in this loss, her second big loss to Thunder, in this loss, she gains that credibility with the fans. I hope that those doubters out there who have thrown stones at the DMD, I hope they see what this woman is willing to go through and how committed she is to this business.
You're right.
Britt has grown so much since the beginning of AEW, and she really has carried this division on her back. She is a pillar of this division, and I think it's so – I'll hand it off to you as the babyface of this group. There's a reason why we feel like if Britt Baker's going to lose, it needs to be to somebody who we know can carry the torch, who could Britt has set the bar for this division, has brought this division so far.
You're right.
Through her charisma and through her character work and through her countless feuds in this division that any old champion just won't do.
You're right.
You need somebody who has that spark. And I think that Thunder Rosa has that spark.
She has more than a spark. It's a burning fire, bonfire.
There you go, brother.
I got a couple points on the DMD, and I know this is Thunder's night, and she's incredible. Like I said earlier, no one deserves it more than Thunder Rosa. She absolutely is battle tested and battle worn, and the ultimate payoff, and she deserves it. And congratulations to her. But that being said, the DMD's title reign cannot be overshadowed by anything, even if there are some asterisks, because she led the charge of the women's division. And we've seen her in some of the most violent matches in AEW and take some of the most violent spots in the women's division to date. There's not many, or I don't think there is anybody that could match violent spots to violent spots. Not to say violent spots is what
we've seen the Bunny. We've seen Bunny and Penelope Ford do some crazy stuff. The Bunny definitely has a sick side to her. But I mean, without
DMD, I don't think they would have done that.
You're right.
So
you're right.
That being said,
she's a trailblazer.
She just so many cringeworthy moments in tonight's match and previous matches that the DMD is willing to put herself through. It's incredible to see that and her dedication. And have to give props to the DMD for that. And she's going to be feeling that match tomorrow and tonight, because that is a painful, brutal battle. She did not go down without a fight. That being said, I know you are like the number one DMD fanboy, but I think now's the time to turn her face. Now's the time to put her on Team Babyface.
I don't think so. I'm with Sharonica. I think that the revenge tour of the DMD, she's gonna. I mean, I don't think that she's gonna take this lying down. I think that she's gonna come after Thunder again, and she's gonna want revenge. I know that they've teased Britt Baker going babyface in the past, but I don't think now's the time for that. I think that get out of here. You guys are ruining my mojo, as if losing the belt isn't enough. You can't take her from Team Heel. I get it. I get why there's the appeal there. Britt is incredibly charismatic, and she knows how to get the crowd eating out of the palm of her hand. But to me, I think that seeing Britt go after Thunder with a vengeance is going to – I think that losing the belt will drive Britt crazy. She's going to be frustrated, embarrassed, and angry. And I think that she's going to come after Thunder. And that might lead to Britt, pushing people away or what have you. I mean, I think that there's going to be – I wouldn't want to be Rebel or Jamie Hayter tonight either.
No.
I think that Britt's going to be furious that this happened, and I think that there's going to be a lot of scheming on what she can do to get the belt back. Britt don't cross the DMD, brother. I don't think that she's going babyface anytime soon, man.
Well, that being said, there's a lot at store for that and a lot at
Mhm.
stake with the women's division. I mean, the landscape has completely changed tonight in the women's division, and I mean, it's a complete sweep. I mean, you cannot argue Thunder Rosa. If you've been following her story, I mean, she's the top performer of the last year almost in the women's division, in my opinion. But top performer of the night, Thunder Rosa, the new women's champion and new women's champion,
Baby, I love it.
and she's going to have one heck of a run in her hometown. It was an incredible way to close out the show. I wish we had like 2 more minutes of celebration. It was great. Dustin Rhodes came out, and was incredible Dynamite, man. Wow.
I think that we're gonna see, like I said, SPD. I think that this is just a new chapter of this feud, and I for one love it. We've seen for a long time now Thunder Rosa be the one chasing Britt. Britt, being the egotistical, over the top heel who rubs it in Thunder's face, makes her go through hell, torments Thunder, but always has that championship belt to kind of as the ultimate prize. I'm excited to see Thunder be the champ and Britt be on the chase.
Okay,
I mean,
all right.
I mean that flip flops this feud and gives us so much more to look forward to.
You're right.
It flip flops it.
It does.
It really does. It allows us to see a whole new dynamic with Thunder. The defiant babyface that she is. The as JR likes to talk about, a woman who is fueled on emotion, to be proud of being a champion, to want to fight with honor, and that in and of itself is going to be such a cool flip on what we've seen over the last few months as a champion who doesn't cut corners, who doesn't cheat, who doesn't, it's going to be really fun to see Britt try to sneak in another W over her by hook or by crook, and how desperate Britt can become, not being able to beat the valiant Thunder Rosa. I mean, Thunder has got her number, man. I'm really excited to see the roles reversed in this feud and to see how that goes going forward. I think it's going to be a lot of exciting, entertaining television for the AEW fans.
It's going to be some good sports entertainment, baby.
Some good sports entertainment. I love that.
You guys, thank you guys for tuning in. We're glad to be back, and we appreciate you guys in the chat. It's a lot of fun. We could chat all night, but we're going to wrap things up for the evening. Dynamite Download episode 76. We're going to marinate on this one and send Thunder Rosa a lot of congratulations, and you deserve it wishes. But we're gonna wrap it up for the night. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys all week, and have a safe and fun week for y'all, baby.